What's up, guys? I got a review for you all today, and it is a game that I was really excited for when it first came out, Fallout New Vegas. And I have an excuse, first off. For those of you who are disappointed at the length of time that it took me to get this review out, first off, I want to let you guys know that I am equally disappointed in myself because it just, it took a while. I wanted to play this game to the point where I felt like I could give it an honest review and really have an honest opinion on the game that was educated, not only biased or opinionated or anything like that. I wanted to give you guys a straight and narrow opinion on it. And I feel that I can do that now. I have enough hours put into the game. I've done enough crazy stuff in the game to really give it that review that it deserves. But the first thing, though, that I want to let you guys know is this game is going to be compared to Fallout 3 a lot during this video because of the fact that Fallout 3 was really not only the first Fallout that I played, but it's probably the best one to compare it to because of the fact that it uses the same engine, and it's really just made a lot like Fallout 3, and as far as the process and all that. But that's not a bad thing. So don't get upset by hearing that. Just bear with me and see how it goes. And I hope you guys enjoy it. But the first thing that you will notice, though, with Fallout New Vegas, and the first thing that I noticed, honestly, was the cool box it comes in. It comes in a cool box, and I like the way it looks. It has a little sleeve thingy, It's getting kind of popular with some games nowadays. I'm not going to talk about the box for 20 minutes, but I wanted to get that out there because it's a really cool. The box art is awesome. It shows the dude with the revolver, and he just looks real creepy and yeah. But he has the strip in the background, and it just looks cool. For those of you who didn't see it, one more time, he's right there. He got his little magnum, and the strip's right there, right there. And so it's a cool little box art. I applaud them for that. Their art team is actually really awesome for this game, and I'll actually give them more props later in the video. But now that I've wasted 2 minutes on talking about the box, let's go on. The first thing, though, that I noticed with this game, as opposed to Fallout 3, was the story didn't quite catch me as fast as Fallout 3's story caught me. And what I mean by that is Fallout 3, for those of you who don't know and didn't play it, you were born at the beginning of the game. The beginning of the game starts off you being born after this wicked cool intro by this dude, and he's just like, war never changes. And he's talking about it, and then you're born, and it's freaking awesome because you have these lights in your head, and it's kind of like, I would imagine it's a lot like what a baby goes through. As far as the visual, we couldn't feel any of that, but it's just the visual alone was awesome. And so really what this whole thing is pertaining to is it catches you right away. You have an instant connection with your character. And at least I did. I got really connected with my character, and I was like, this is my character. This is the guy that I am in this game. In Fallout New Vegas, your character already has a background, and he's a carrier. He has an important package, so to speak, and he gets shot in the head. The only thing that I got from this, it wasn't like connection or attachment to my character. It was more like, what the hell? Was more of my feeling when I started the game, because it's kind of like, I'm a carrier. I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. I'm making minimum wage, right next to Johnny B. Good with the, flipping burgers at McDonald's. I'm making minimum wage. I have to worry about death claws and rad scorpions, but you want to shoot me in the head because I have a package? Yeah, okay. So that's really what made me I had like a WTF type of thing when I started the game. And I wanted to find out why they killed me. That was my whole reason for wanting to play the story. I just wanted to find out, why the hell did you kill me? Because that's not cool. That was not cool. I did not deserve that. So some people say it was a setup. Some people say it was, wrong place, wrong time type thing. That's for you to find out in the story. I'm not going to ruin that for you. Because, yeah, it's just not something I do. But I will say one thing, though. While the story does not catch you right off the bat like Fallout 3 did, I will say this. The story matures much better than Fallout 3. It climaxes better than Fallout 3, and it ends better than Fallout 3. The only part that Fallout 3 has over it is the beginning. Honestly, the beginning, and that's about it. Everything else is either on par or better than Fallout 3. So I think anybody who played Fallout 3 is gonna love this game. Just give it a chance. Just give it a chance. Because honestly, my first impressions were like, this game's okay, but it's not making me want to play it every day. But luckily, eventually, I'm going to say when you get about 10 hours into the game, You get past all the BS and you kind of just get out there on your own. You get settled in. It gets you locked in, and you're just locked and loaded, and you want to play more and more and more. And I think that's actually kind of cool because it eases you into the game rather than just boom, you're gonna play me until you finish me. That might sound stupid, but try it, and it actually is a nice thing for once. You ease into the game instead of just being thrown into it and thrusted, to the wolves, so to speak. So I thought that was cool, but like I said, story in this game, it beats Fallout 3's story for one reason and one reason only right off the bat. Like, it has a lot more reasons, but this reason, more than anything else, is a reason why it wins. Dialogue. The dialogue in this game is so much better than it was in Fallout 3. It's not monotone. It's not the same voices over and over again. It's not the same conversations over and over again. It's actually a little different. People have personalities. There's different voices. Not every ghoul sounds the same. It's pretty cool. Not every member of the NCR sounds the same. Not every member of Caesar's Legion sounds the same. So it's cool because it's not like Fallout 3. The Enclave, every member of the Enclave sound the same. Every member of the Brotherhood of Steel sounded the same in Fallout 3. Every friggin' every ghoul sounded the same in Fallout 3. It was a male and a female voice, and that was it. But it seems in this game they sound different. And that goes hand in hand. The other thing that really makes it better is the character models are a little better in this game. The dialogue is better. The speaking to people. There's an actual conversation there. It develops. You have more chances. Speech plays a major role in this game. So if you're wondering like a good character to try to use, I recommend using a speech character. I kind of fudged up and didn't use a speech carrier, but I'm definitely looking back, or not looking back, but looking forward to using another character who's good at talking, because talking is a very powerful tool in this game, and it's talking and barter, they just go kind of hand in hand, and it's a really powerful thing. Charisma is something that I want to try out because it just looks kind of cool. But aside from all that, there's so much more that they've added to the game as far as better dialogue, better character models, better faces, and all that. The other thing that they've added a bunch of new enemies that we didn't see in Fallout 3. They've added a bunch of new things that we can do. We can aim down the sight now with combat. Combat's a lot smoother now. The hit detection's a lot better. Just the way you move your gun, it's so much smoother. We can craft ammo now. We can craft medical supplies. We can make food now. There's just more things that we can do with this game than we could in Fallout 3. And I applaud them for that. They added a lot of ideas to it. Another thing that I noticed in this game was the two main factions. You can kind of ignore them as much as you want. With Fallout 3, you kind of had to get involved with one of them. You had to. It was like, that's just all there is to it. You're going to get involved with them. But in New Vegas, if you don't want to mess with the NCR, if you don't want to mess with the Legion, it's easier to play that middle ground in this game. I sided with the NCR on my first guy, but that's just kind of how I am. I sided with like the more authoritative or military-based type guys. But I'm looking forward to a playthrough where I go with the Caesar's Legion. That would be kind of cool. For those of you who don't know, it's actually Caesar. That's how they pronounce it in the game, so that's how I'm going to pronounce it, I guess. A lot of us thought it was Caesar's. I actually thought it was Caesar's Legion too, but it was kind of weird. Like when I was playing the game, like Caesar's Legion, and I was like, "Well, I thought his name was Caesar," but whatever. That's how they pronounce it, I guess. But one thing that I will say about this game is the bugs are still there. The bugs were still there, especially when the game first launched. They've definitely gotten better. I myself didn't experience a lot of the bugs that people were talking about. But there were definitely some there. They're not as bad as Fallout 3, honestly, in my opinion. This game does run smoother than Fallout 3. And the way that it does is, like, I'm talking about when everything's going off, when there's explosions and people are dying and, everything's just going off and it's all chaotic and hectic, it's still running smoothly. It's not running, it's not running like a 2D side scroller at that point. It's still running very smoothly. The frame rate, it's pretty steady during this game. The other thing that I noticed in this game as opposed to Fallout 3 is when you talk about the enemies react a little differently now. The enemies are they have their own areas now. In Fallout 3, it was kind of just like, there were regions for enemies in Fallout 3, but it's not as pronounced as in this game. There's an actual, if you have the strategy guide, I don't have it, but my friend has it, and he showed me the map. There are like definite areas where, like, there's an area for Deathclaws. There's an area for Cazadors. There's an area for Nightkin. There's an area for Super Mutants. There's an area for Geckos. And so all of these different enemies have their own region. And it kind of adds to the whole scariness of the map. Because as opposed to this, I don't know if it's for this in regular mode, but in hardcore mode, when you start the game, there are some zones that are just no-no zones. You just don't go there. Black Mountain being one of them. Just the sound of Black Mountain, it's like Black Mountain. You don't want to go there. You know, in most cases at least. There's other, you know, if you go north, going north from where you start is a very dangerous area. It's infested with Cazadors and Deathclaws. And honestly, I'd have to say that out of all the new enemies, and I'm going to talk about those in a second, but out of all the new enemies, I freaking hate the Cazadors the most. They annoy the hell out of me. I don't have any healing powder or nothing like that. I never carry that with me, like to get rid of poison. So when they sting me, dude, it sucks for me, because I gotta like pop stim packs and like hope I survive. At least when I first started the game, it was really bad. And so, you know, it's more dangerous. It is. It's a more dangerous game. I'm like trying to connect all this, and I think that's the best way I can sum it up. Is the game is more dangerous. We're looking at the game, and it has more colors, and it has, you know, a blue sky, and it's kind of, you know, like a happy-go-lucky type feel, but it's more dangerous compared to Fallout 3. And so it's, you know, in that regard, like I said, there being some zones where you just go and you're not going to survive. Fallout 3 really didn't have that, because regardless of what level you were, if you went, the enemies kind of leveled with you. And so in this game, having set levels on some areas is something that I think is just really cool, because it adds that layer of depth to the game. And speaking of adding layers of depth, there's two things that actually do that for this game, for me personally. Number one, enemy types, like subtypes of enemies, and hardcore mode. I'm going to talk about both of those right now. The first thing, though, would be hardcore mode. Hardcore mode is honestly something, what it does is it adds like limb damage. If you get limb damage, you can't repair it with the stim pack anymore. You have to get a doctor's bag or go to a doctor's office. You can't just like spam stim packs and get instant recovery. It actually recovers over time. Things have timed effects now instead of just instantaneously. You get hungry, you get dehydrated, you know, you get sleepy, and so that adds a whole layer of depth to the game, because then that makes you think more. Weapons, the ammo has weight, so you can't just walk around with like a million rockets in your back pocket, because you're gonna get over encumbered and, you know, be screwed. And so it's cool because that adds a whole nother layer of depth to it. It adds this layer of, well, this ammo is really heavy. I don't really need it right now, so I'm gonna leave it here. I had to leave a lot of stuff back, and I don't know, it kind of sucks. I mean, like it's ammo that I'm not gonna use, so it's cool. But it would have been nice to keep it like for the caps. But you'll run into that if you play hardcore mode, which is kind of cool, because like I said, it makes you think, it makes you plan things out. It makes you pack correctly. Not so much when you get really far in the game, like when you have a follower or whatever, but when you're by yourself, you got to kind of plan it a little bit. And that goes hand in hand with the different enemy types. And like I said, in hardcore mode, it you know, it makes certain areas no-no zones, and this gets even more pronounced when you run into the different types of enemies. For example, Deathclaws. I remember in Fallout 3, Deathclaws were not so scary once you hit level 18. They weren't that bad. You know, I was fist fighting them at level 22. You know, just boom, boom, you know, throwing jabs and stuff, and my unarmed wasn't even that high. But in this game, Deathclaws are actually some of the scariest mofos on the freaking map. They're ridiculously terrifying. They kill you in like 2 hits if you're not careful, and so it's very different. Now, the other thing with Deathclaws that's different is there's different types of Deathclaws. For example, you've got baby Deathclaws, blind Deathclaws, regular Deathclaws, you've got Deathclaw mothers, you've got Deathclaw alpha males, and you've got the biggest mofo of them all, the legendary Deathclaw. Now, a lot of people may not know about him. I can actually tell you where he's at. He's in Deadwind Cavern. If you ever find this place called Deadwind Cavern, there's Deathclaws in front of it, so you should know. That's where he's chilling at. But this goes the same for every other type of enemy, though. There's, like the geckos, for example. There's fire geckos, there's golden geckos, there's regular geckos. And then it goes for, like, the super mutants. You've got Nightkin, you've got super mutant masters and hunters and whatnot and all that. Brutes. And so it changes because, number one, not only does it add more variation to the combat, but it also adds a lot more to just kind of like, you know, the danger, just the dangerous feel to the game. You don't feel safe as often in this game, especially when you start getting to some of the areas like up north. It's not really safe. A lot of the times you're kind of just trying to play it safe a lot of the time, and I think that's something that adds a layer of depth to the game. And another thing though that I want to mention is those freaking Deathclaws, the new ones that they added are freaking scary. The alpha male looks like he's on steroids, and then the mother looks like freaking the thing from what's like the thing from, what's that movie? I can't remember what that movie was. Damn it. It's the movie where like they're running with the camera. It's like a first person camera angle, and it's about an alien. Cloverfield. Cloverfield. She looks like the thing from Cloverfield, and it is ridiculous. Like, she just wants to kill you and eat you. But I don't know, it's kind of cool. Because I was in Quarry Junction the other day, and if you guys don't know, Quarry Junction is an area where Deathclaws are at, and I'll actually talk about that in a video coming up. But the point is, with me rambling on, the point is that enemies are different in this game. They react differently. They kind of adjust to what you're doing. They're not quite as stupid. They're still kind of dumb. But I find myself kind of laughing at my human enemies and worrying about my, you know, mutant and mutated enemies, which is the way it should be. It's just I think it makes more sense that way, honestly. And so I don't even know where I was going with this, but basically the enemies are better in this game. The enemies are better. The dialogue's better. The story, honestly, in my opinion, is better. The factions are better in this game. You know, it's just a different game. And when a lot of people say that this is an expansion or something, I just laugh at them because it doesn't make any sense. It's not an expansion. It's a full-blown new sequel to a game, in my opinion, that was probably one of the best to come out so far this gaming generation. It is one of the best. Fallout 3 was amazing. New Vegas just adds and takes it to a whole new level. I'm definitely looking forward to the DLC, and I'll talk about that when I'm able to get my hands on it, honestly. And I've actually been talking to my friends about it, and it sounds really cool. But one thing that I do want to say before I finish this is anybody out there who's kind of on the fence about buying it, who's wondering about it, I say get it. And if you guys, you know, really need to know like a scale of 1 to 10 type thing, I'd give it about a 9.3. 9.3. I think that's a good score because while it does pick up slow, the story is awesome in the end. And then same goes for everything else in this game. You just got to get used to a lot of things in the game, but once you get the hang of it and actually begin to realize, oh, that's at my disposal, it makes the game that much more enjoyable. I'm going to start a series pretty soon. It's going to have me just talking about random stuff that happens to me in the wasteland until that day when I eventually get my HD PVR and actually start putting gameplay up on the channel like I would like to one day. But until then, you guys can keep just looking at my face and listen to me talk, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So, yeah, go out and get the game if you don't have it. That's really all I got to say about this game. It's a great game, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Have a nice day.